The Basketball Hall of Fame Invitational did not disappoint. Tennessee defeating Maryland, giving Maryland their second loss on the season. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck. And we're going to break down number 7 Tennessee defeating number 13 Maryland, 56-53. I mean, they really hung on to this one. Tennessee did. It came down right to the buzzer on this one. But Maryland really kind of came back. They were struggling in the first half. They had a great second half, but it just wasn't enough as they lose by 3 here. Maryland and Kevin Willard getting their second loss of the season, Steve. Tennessee had a scare earlier in the season, but they're looking fantastic now. 9-1. They actually received a first place vote from the Associated Press Committee.
Only I saw that.
Yeah, interesting, right? But other than that, they looked really good in this one, and they are really showing up. Well, what's your thoughts about this game, and what do you think about Tennessee and Maryland moving forward?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say that the guy that gave Tennessee a first place vote, I think we need to have you drug tested. So please do report to either your newspaper office or to the NCAA. Tennessee is a good team. They're not the number one team in the country, but it shouldn't be a shock in this game that it was a really hard fought, defensive minded kind of a game. That's what both of these teams do. You talk about Maryland getting off, to a tough start in the beginning. The last 2 games, they have been just horrible from 3 points. They were 2 for 24 in this game from 3-point land.
8%.
I mean, yeah, that, and Kevin Willard, basically it's like, okay, we want to play good defense. We want to hit the 3, control inside, move out to the perimeter, hit the 3, but also control in the paint. And in this game, they only achieved 1. They played a good, solid defensive game. The other 2, 3-point shooting and controlling the paint, didn't happen. Tennessee out-rebounded them by double digits. They had, Tennessee forced 11 turnovers. They had 6 steals. They did what needed to be done, in a close defensive-oriented game. Tennessee has really, really impressed me. They really have. I was kind of poo-pooing them when we were doing the conference previews, where I was like, well, yeah, they always play well, until February, and then they kind of struggle, and then they get bounced in the tournament. But this is a team that if everything clicks for them, they have a really good chance, of making people nervous, I think, in the SEC. They had 21 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, this is that team, like you said. Do you believe that this can be? They're playing like a tournament team, and the result at the end really proves it. Winning a close matchup right at the end, that speaks tournament play all over the place, Steve, and it really does. And that is something that we have seen a struggling Tennessee team do for years now. It's not just a one and done kind of situation with this. This is a yearly issue with the Volunteers. Can this be the year that they overcome that and become a team that can be successful in tournaments? When you see them play these tough teams close and find a way to get the win, it makes you think that they can.
Yeah, and you just triggered a thought in my mind. I didn't have this written down, but remember when Rick Barnes kind of went off on his players publicly?
Of course. Yeah,
and
after
you
the loss to Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, you and I were talking about, like, that is just so uncharacteristic. It's the pressure getting to him, and then we said, well, maybe he knows his team pretty well, that he can get away with something like that, and it's a motivating factor. Since that Colorado loss, Tennessee's been terrific.
Terrific. There's no better way to say that. After that loss to Colorado, they crushed Florida Gulf Coast. They crushed Butler. They beat USC in overtime, and they really put the hurt on Kansas. And then they've just been rolling ever since. This is really their closest game since the Colorado incident. Calling it incident, it's funny. But it's Tennessee and Maryland, 56-53 final here. This is where it gets interesting for me, is because on Saturday and Sunday, these games are loaded. We got some loaded games between men's and women's side of college basketball this weekend. But this Saturday, we get Tennessee and Arizona. Now, these might be the 2 hottest teams, maybe count out Alabama, but these might be the 2 hottest teams in college basketball on the men's side right now, Steve.
Yeah, and the way that Tennessee can shut down the perimeter defensively, that they could give Arizona fits because I mean Arizona is really good inside. I mean
Yeah.
they're are they the best team inside in the country? Maybe. I mean, you can argue, well, they don't have as many rebounds as that, but I think as far as controlling the play, Arizona's the best team in the paint around the rim in the game right now, the way that they're playing. But if Tennessee can smother them out on the perimeter, that's going to cause Arizona some matchup issues, and Tennessee can just hang. If they can just hang close, they have the kind of 3-point shooters that they don't necessarily hit a lot of them, but the ones they hit, they're big shots. Certainly in the Maryland game, that was the case. I mean, they had like 3 or 4 like clutch 3-pointers that just were just daggers in the Terrapins' backs. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to that one.
As for Maryland, they moved to 8-2 now. Kevin Willard's on a 2-game losing streak after losing this one and the game on Tuesday against Wisconsin. They head out on Wednesday to face the other powerhouse in the Pac-12. They're going to host UCLA on Wednesday night. That's going to be on Fox Sports 1, 9 o'clock Eastern time. What, you have some concerns about Maryland now? We saw them look really good at the beginning of the season. It looks like they hit their peak after that win against Illinois, and then they go on a little bit of a slump here. Is this something that we can continue to maybe see a slump get deeper, or you think they're going to find themselves out of the hole?
I think they're going to shoot their way out of the hole. When it's going to happen, I don't know. They have too much talent, as from the offensive aspect of the game, that they're not going to go 2 for 24, from 3 points forever. Kevin Willard's a good coach. I think Maryland, matches up well against UCLA. I mean, if they can slow it down, they're going to have to keep this, a half-court game. They can't get into a run up and down match with UCLA because UCLA will just run them out of the building. But I mean, Maryland's defense is tenacious enough, and their inside game is good enough that UCLA is going to have to be a little bit more patient. It's going to be a much lower scoring game than the Bruins are used to. And I think that plays into Maryland's hand.
Let us know your thoughts in the comment below between any of the teams we discussed here in this conversation. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It really helps us out. And thanks as always for watching SlasherU.